The Untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's been missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, it's a little windy right now, so I don't know how the sound, is coming out on the video, but shout out to everybody here. We're live once again, reporting to you live and direct from Kagawa, Japan, West Japan to be exact. It's a beautiful, about to be, it's like 11 something, going into the noon, going into the afternoon. So it's beautiful right now. I know back in the States, if you're on the East Coast, I know it's like 11 something. If you're on the West Coast, it's like 8 something. So shout out to everybody watching this video right now. Shout out to everybody watching the playback. Whenever you do watch, make sure you smash that like button. We got another great live for you guys today. Gervonta Davis yesterday, he made a lot of news, a lot of headlines, because he was doing a whole lot of talking, a whole lot of flapping his gums, and what was coming out of his mouth was really intriguing stuff. So let's talk about it. Leave your comments down below. Make sure you guys chime in, because I do have a lot to say about Gervonta Davis as I walk the streets of Takamatsu, Japan, and get my thoughts out there about boxing. So we'll start with the news that Gervonta Davis has stated that he wants to retire from boxing after 2025. He said 2025 is going to be my last year in boxing. After this, I'm out. That's it. So the first question we got to ask is, do we actually believe Gervonta Davis? Because we've seen this so many times over the years. When I think of fake retirements in boxing, Floyd Mayweather comes to mind, when he left HBO. More recently, Teofimo Lopez retiring after he beat Josh Taylor. He comes to mind. Fighters don't do a great job of letting the yes be the yes and the no be the no when it comes to retirements in boxing. That's just the truth. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. Funny enough, anybody who knows me knows that I'm not an Andre Ward fan. In fact, Andre Ward's probably like one of my least favorite fighters in boxing history. But Andre Ward, he's one of the only fighters that's actually said, I'm leaving the game, and has stayed retired. So he gets credit from me for that. So do I think Tank's going to leave boxing alone? No. Because now what's going to happen is, now that he's went ahead and said that, I feel like he's forced the hand of the market in boxing, whether it be Amazon Prime, whether it be Turkey Al-Sheikh, whomever is looking to make big fights with Gervonta Davis involved. This is, I think, this is my opinion, I think this is a way of driving up the market value for those fights. So if we're talking about Tank versus Shakur, if we're talking about Tank versus Keyshawn Davis, Tank versus Devin Haney, Tank versus Teofimo Lopez, with him wanting to get the hell out of boxing, this will then, I think, drive the promoters and people that pay out the money in the sport to up the price. That's what I think. But let me see, what do you guys think? Shout out to everybody here. Shout out to my man David Esther with the $5 super chat. I appreciate you, Chan. Thank you for your contributions. David also says, peace, brother. Tank Davis is going to cherry pick Ryan Garcia and Haney and then retire? No. Maybe Ryan Garcia. Maybe that, because Ryan has his suspension ending, I think, next year in, April? And Ryan's going to be here in Japan fighting an exhibition against the Japanese fighter Rukia Ampo. So that's always an option. The Ryan Garcia and Tank, the rematch. It's one of the only fights in boxing that, in America at least, that I think would generate like good money. That enough money for Tank to keep fighting. So because of the first fight, even though there was the rehydration clause and it wasn't a competitive fight, it was a big event. It moved the needle. Like, people actually in America cared about Tank versus Ryan. Even though there wasn't any title on the line, even though it wasn't a significant fight in terms of like the championship picture and the pound-for-pound list, yeah, like a Tank-Ryan rematch is always in play. Shout out to Enrique Luna. He says, let's go, champ. You're loud and clear. I think he's frustrated. He's letting his emotions be known. Yeah, the other part of it, too, could be that fact that PBC and Al Heyman, they have been getting a lot of dates. So maybe he knows something we don't. Maybe he knows that the money ain't, maybe the money's running dry. Maybe they can't pay his high guarantees. Remember, guys, this Lamont Roach fight was supposed to happen in December. And it didn't happen in December because of the fact that, from what I heard, it didn't happen because Tank wanted such a high guarantee for a fight that they just couldn't pay him out for. So I guess they must have negotiated or renegotiated or something, and that's why the fight's happening now. But yeah, I mean, Tank Davis has become a box office attraction. He's fighting Lamont Roach. Let's be real. The Lamont Roach fight is one of the most pointless pay-per-view fights ever in the history of boxing. One of the most pointless championship fights in recent memory. And that's not to downgrade Lamont Roach. I like him. I interviewed him last year. He's a good guy, good fighter, world champion, all that stuff. But Lamont Roach shouldn't be anywhere near a Tank fight. But here we are. He's fighting Tank. So, you know, they're going to lose money on this fight 1,000%. And the reality is this: Amazon Prime, PBC, Al Heyman, they can't continue to afford losing money on fights. And they damn sure can't afford to lose money on no Tank fight, because Tank is the only guy that normally turns over a profit for them. But people are getting tired of Gervonta Davis, you know, fighting these guys that people know can't beat him. They want to see him in there with like Shakur Stevenson. They want to see him in there with Keyshawn Davis. They want to see him in there with, you know, some people still want to see him in there with Devin Haney. Some people want to see him there with Teofimo Lopez. They want to get him in the ring with somebody who's a name, competitive fighter, an American fighter. They don't care for this Lamont Roach shit, and that's just the truth. But best wishes to Lamont Roach. Let me see. We got. By the way, yeah, rest in peace. Thank you, Dave, for the reminder. Rest in peace to one of boxing's true warriors, Israel Vasquez, who gave boxing so many great fights over the years. Like Oscar Larios, Johnny Gonzalez, the Rafael Marquez trilogy. You want to talk about true warriors, you want to talk about people that put them gloves on and give people what they ask for, Israel Vasquez was one of those guys. So God rest his soul. You know, he left his mark on the sport, and he did what any fighter, you don't want any fighter to do, which is be in big fights, be in significant fights, and when you get in that ring, give people moments to remember you by. And I'm sure at some point in time, whether it's this year or the following year, Israel Vasquez will have his rightful seat in the Boxing Hall of Fame. That's for damn sure. So rest in peace to him, and Godspeed to him. But getting back to Tank, right? Because this is really the point of discussion for the live, is Tank and this retirement. Is he going to fake a retirement? Is it real? Personally, I've always thought Gervonta Davis doesn't really love boxing that much. Like, he loves boxing for what it does for him, but he doesn't love boxing like itself. You get what I'm saying? And a lot of fighters like that. There's plenty of fighters that love what boxing does for them, but not necessarily boxing itself. And there is a difference. You can love what something does for you, but you know, doesn't mean you actually love the actual thing. I mean, not to be messed up or nothing like that, but women are like, a lot of women are like that all the time. A lot of women, they love what a man can do for them, but it's seldom, it's very few on this earth that actually love the man himself. That's just the truth, right? So it's no different with Tank with boxing. So I've always thought that he was always going to be a guy that retired early, not be boxing into his mid to late 30s. He even stated, I was reading some tweets, he said that he's looking to, once boxing's over, he wants to build his real estate portfolio and find ways to make money and not be in the limelight, because he's tired of all this. He's tired of all of it. And that's fine. Like, I ain't gonna knock him. Like, who's little old BT in True School to tell, you know, world-class knockout artist Gervonta Davis what he should or shouldn't do with his life? It's his life, you know, and it's his prerogative to make his own decisions as a man. But before he leaves this boxing game, I don't care. He need to fight. He need to fight a Shakur Stevenson. He need to fight a Keyshawn Davis. He need to fight one of these young, you know, American fighters that one of these young black American fighters that we've been talking about Tank fighting for years. I'm not really I really don't care too much if he fights Shakur Stevenson anymore, because Shakur has been getting on my nerves. I'd rather him fight Keyshawn Davis. And even Tank said it himself. Tank was asked a question about the Shakur Stevenson fight, and Tank said it himself that, like, he's not really interested in fighting Shakur, because what has Shakur Stevenson done in boxing? Why does he need to fight him? And this, that, and the third. He even said that Shakur Stevenson has been he's been outshined by Keyshawn Davis, which is true. I've been saying that myself. I said that in one of my last Tank videos I did. I said that Keyshawn Davis is outshining Shakur Stevenson, and I said that Keyshawn Davis, I think right now, even at his young age, could give Gervonta Davis all he can handle. Maybe even beat him, because All these other guys like Devin and Shakur, these guys are gonna try to box and get on their back foot and be defensive. Tank's gonna hit their ass. He's gonna hit them with something big like a counter punch somewhere in the middle rounds or maybe the early rounds, and they're gonna go into defense first mode, which I think it's gonna be very difficult. I'm not saying it can't be done. You can box a disciplined 12 rounds against Tank, but it's very, very hard because Gervonta Davis is very good at making adjustments. He's very good at picking up on the pattern of his opponents. You know, they say Lomachenko likes to download information. Gervonta Davis likes to download information. He's a high IQ fighter, and he deserves credit for that. Keyshawn Davis, on the other hand, he's not gonna go in there looking to box Tank. He's gonna go in there looking to fight Tank and put him on the back foot. And he might get clipped, he might get hurt, he might get knocked out his damn self. Maybe he don't have the experience to deal with Tank. But I think Keyshawn Davis would make for a better event. I think he'd make for a better fight, and I would give him a better shot to win than some of the other guys. That's what I think. Because one thing Gervonta Davis has going for him, and he's had going for him every single fight in his career, from the pro debut to right now, 27 fights in, is the fact that Gervonta Davis knows that whoever's on the other side of the ring, you know, he's the meaner fighter, he's the stronger fighter, he's the guy that punches harder, he's the guy that's looking for the kill, for the knockout. And the other guys normally ain't looking for the knockout, because that's not how, when they pick Tank opponents, apart from Ryan Garcia, I'll give him a little credit for Ryan, even though he was weight drained. Apart from Ryan Garcia, nobody Tank has fought is looking to knock him out. And the one guy that he fought that was trying to do that, they put a clause on him so that he wouldn't be fully strong. And that's not hating, that's a fact. So if any of you Tank fanboys watch the playback or watch the live and you get all pissed and then you get your feelings hurt that I'm mentioning the rehydration clause that they put in there, that's a fact. That's not me hating Tank. I actually like Tank Davis. I'm a Gervonta Davis fan. I've really grown to love Gervonta Davis, covering his career, going to his fights, interacting with them at media days. I've covered 3 Gervonta Davis media days. I like Tank a lot. And it's getting to a point where it's like, okay, you want to retire after this year is over. Okay, that's fine. But go fight one of these young killers before you do. Because it's getting to a point where I've been asking myself the question, not about who can beat Tank, but more so like, am I and is the boxing public ever going to see Gervonta Davis in a real 50-50 fight against another young fighter who is not put on this ridiculous rehydration clause? Are we ever going to see Gervonta Davis at the peak of his powers in a true, like, close to or 50-50 fight? That's what I want to know, without any funny business, without any clauses or anything like that. You know? Because I think, honestly, it'd be a damn shame if Gervonta Davis goes his whole boxing career and is never in a fight like that. You know? Who gives a fuck if you lose? Who cares? Who cares if you lose? Plenty of fighters have lost. Just fight them straight up, shoot the fair one. Gervonta Davis and everyone around him, they say he's like that. Okay, if he's like that, fight Keyshawn Davis. If Keyshawn Davis, not next, but I'm saying in 2025, if Keyshawn Davis grabs a world title, because he's supposed to fight supposedly Dennis Baranchyk next, if he goes and he beats up Dennis Baranchyk for the WBO title and he becomes champion, okay, fight Keyshawn Davis. No catch weights, no none of that, and beat him up. Beat him up. I want to. That's the fight I really want to see. I don't care about the Shakur fight. Shakur is gonna try to outbox him and get overly defensive, and it may be cool to watch. Like, it may be, you know, it'll be the aggressive counterpuncher versus the technical fighter and things like that. It's a cool little style matchup. But to me, the fireworks fight that I'm gonna campaign for, the more this guy keeps winning, is Keyshawn Davis. Just because I think he's got a better personality than Shakur, so the build-up's gonna be more exciting, and the fight itself will be more exciting. So those are my thoughts on that. But shout out to everybody here. Who we got? We got Tyco TV in the building. Michael Park says, "What has anyone Tank ever fought done though? To me, it's just an excuse to fight because he's not going to fight Keyshawn either. Probably not. He's not going to fight Keyshawn because more than likely because Keyshawn's with Top Rank, and you know, Leonard Ellerby and whatnot. You know, all the politics in American boxing that have allowed a figure like Turki Al-Sheikh to come into the sport. That's what's going to happen. That's going to continue to happen. They're going to say, oh, he's with Top Rank. We don't want to make them money. We don't want to do this. We don't want to do that. Okay. Well, then Tank will just PBC sinking ship right now. Let's call a spade a spade. They're a sinking ship. The fighter that the whole company, because this is the truth, PBC is only surviving because of a Gervonta Davis. Gervonta Davis is Gervonta Davis and Dave Benavidez. Those are the two guys that are selling tickets for them and turning up enough of a profit to keep the light bill on. That's the truth. So if he's leaving the sport and he's out the game, what's PBC to do now? Because PBC didn't develop anybody. They pissed away all that hedge fund money back in the day. There's nothing really to look forward to. So my thing is, take the safety out the Glock and make Tank versus Keyshawn. Make Tank versus Shakur. Make Tank versus Teofimo Lopez. Make Tank versus fucking Devin even, because some people still want to see that fight. And for some strange reason, I'll never understand it, there's this obsession with Devin Haney. Devin Haney is like one of the most regular fighters in boxing, but people love Devin Haney. So make Tank versus Devin Haney if that's the case. Anyway, let me go back to the comments. Shout out to everybody here. I don't want to get out of subject, but Vasquez's career is more interesting to talk about. We'll talk about it. Put it in the comments. I agree with the Keyshawn assessment. The only problem with him is he doesn't move his head and he keeps it in a straight line. He does. He definitely does. And that would be a big advantage for Tank to counterpunch him. But my thing is, okay, if that's such a big disadvantage, I'm sure Tank is smart enough to see that in his fights and see that on film. Fight him. If he becomes champion, fight him. There you go. Exploit it. It'd be a good fight. It'd be a really good fight. Something I was going to say, too, that one Mexican manager who managed Israel Vasquez managed Oscar Valdez, too. Is that accurate? You're talking about Frank Espinoza. Yeah, yes. Frank Espinoza managed Vasquez, and I believe he managed, I know he manages Valdez, and I believe he managed Vasquez, so I'm pretty sure you're right. And if Rafael Espinoza is fighting Robeisi's, they kind of look alike. Okay, I hear you. What are your thoughts on Adam Mazin taking on Sergey Lipinets, former world champion in his 13 pro fight? It's the right fight at the right time. Lipinets, I can't even remember the last time I seen Lipinets fight. He fought. Guys, refresh my memory. Did Lipinets? I know he fought Boots a couple years ago, but who was his last fight? I know I watched it. Was it Dalton Smith? It couldn't have been Dalton Smith. But it's a good fight. It's a good fight. Lipinets is a former champion, but we know that he's definitely taking some beatings and is out, on the way out at the end of his career. So, it's a chance for Adam Mazin to get a recognized name in the boxing world, in the boxing industry, and push onwards to bigger and better things. If he's the goods, like they say in the UK, then he should be Lipinets at this stage of his career. I got Paul beating Hitchens this weekend, and Navarrete over Valdez, and Espinoza over Robeisi. I have Paul as well. I have Navarrete as well, but I don't have Espinoza this time. I got Robeisi. I think Robeisi is going to beat Rafael Espinoza. I like Espinoza. I would rather Espinoza win because I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fan of Espinoza, but I just think, there's been a lot of talk about him with him going to 130. And I think the reason why Top Rank and there's a lot of talk about him going to 130 is because he can't make the weight no more. And I think that even without the weight problems, I just think like Robeisi doesn't need to do a whole lot different. He just needs to make sure when he hurts Espinoza this time to get him the fuck out of there. That's really and truthfully what he needs to do. And I think he's going to do that. I think he's going to stop Espinoza. And he's going to send Espinoza to 130. And the good thing for Espinoza is win, lose, or draw, no matter what happens with this fight with Robeisi, he's got so many fights with Mexican fighters waiting for him at 130. He can go fight the Valdez Navarrete winner. He can fight Eduardo Sugar Nunez. He can fight Venado Lopez, who's moving up there. There's plenty of fights waiting for him at 130. So he's in a good position no matter what happens. But I got Robeisi winning. I think we all know Robeisi's the more skilled fighter. We all know Robeisi had Espinoza beat the first time. Robeisi punched himself out, let Espinoza back into the fight. Espinoza caught a second wind, and Espinoza got a knockdown late and grinded out a very, very respectable win and showed the heart of a true champion. But I just think this fight's different. the dynamic of both fighters going in is different. And yeah, I'm going with Basie. Yes, Robbie Davies Jr. Thank you guys, Robbie Davies Jr. That was the fight. I knew it was somebody British. Yeah, Robbie Davies. I watched that fight. Lipinets now is not the same Lipinets that fought Mikey Garcia or Akihiro Kondo or Lamont Peterson. He's not that guy anymore. He's towards the end of the road, and that's fine. That's fine. But yeah, getting back to Tank, because there's still more things about Tank I want to talk about. Like, let's just say boxing does lose Gervonta Davis. Like, I'm not trying to talk down on him, because like I said, I like him. He's exciting. I'm a Tank fan. But what are we really losing with Gervonta Davis? Like, we've been asking Tank for years, like years now, to fight one of these other top guys. The one time he did do that, it was the weakest guy of the young guys, and it was the guy that he had to like put a lot of clauses on. So, like, yeah, sure, American boxing is going to lose a ticket seller. It's going to lose a box office attraction. But my thing is, okay, if we lose Tank in America at the box office, what does it matter? Because Tank barely fights, and American boxing is gone to the shitter. So it is what it is. Maybe this is what has to happen to boxing in America for the promoters to inevitably get their act together when Turkey, Al-Sheikh, and Riyadh season eventually do pack the bags up and leave boxing in a couple years, maybe even sooner. You know, that's how I see it. I think it might be a necessary evil. So we'll see. But I did see a clip. I was on Twitter earlier today, and I saw a clip. Shout out to Dan Canobio. Dan Canobio did an interview with Tank, and Tank in the interview said that after he beats Lamont Roach, he's gonna call somebody out. So we'll see who that somebody is. We'll see if it's Shakur or Keyshawn or Teofimo or Devin or someone with a big name, someone that people will be excited to see Tank fight. Because right now, I think we're all in the same boat. We're not trying to disrespect Lamont Roach, but we don't give a fuck about the Lamont Roach fight. Lamont Roach should be at 130, trying to prove that he's one of the top champions at 130. Lamont Roach hasn't even proven that he's a top champion at 130, let alone going up to 35 to fight Gervonta Davis. So it's like, it's pointless. Turkey is not going anywhere. He is gonna go somewhere. You'll see. I didn't say it would be right away, so enjoy this moment in time. Enjoy some of the great fights we will get in the Turkey era. But he's gonna leave boxing at some point. It'll be a couple years, but he'll leave. Because again, and I don't want to make every freaking lie about Turkey Al-Sheikh and talking about what I think, because I'm getting kind of tired of talking about it. But I've said what I needed to say in the past enough. It will happen. When it does, I'll say this. When it does happen, because when he does leave boxing, I'll still be on YouTube whenever that happens. I'm going to do a 5-hour live. A 5-hour I Told You So live. We're going to be talking hella shit. So when that day comes, remember I told you this. Shout out to my man, Rocket. He says, we not losing nothing. We will be great without Tank. He don't fight no top names, and he's robbing the fight fans. And, yeah, I mean, that's the truth from the competitive standpoint of boxing. That's the truth. I like going to Gervonta Davis fights, but that's just the truth. Like, he's not fighting the legacy-defining fights that we want to see. And I'm not saying every fight got to be a killer, because boxing, if everybody fought a killer every single fight, everyone would have short careers. But you gotta step up at some point, and you gotta prove that you are what you say they are. That's just the truth. I don't give a damn if it's Shakur. I don't give a damn if it's Keyshawn. I don't care if it's Tio. I don't even care if it's Devin. In fact, if he fights Devin, I hope he fights Devin. I don't like Devin like that. Devin is not Devin Haney gets way too much credit for being, you know, he's been undisputed. He did some cool things in his career. But to me, like, Devin is Richardson Hitchens with more marketing behind him. Same fighter. The same damn fighter. So I'd be okay if Tank fought Devin Haney. And I'm tired of people I'm tired of every day on Twitter, every day on social media, I see people riding Devin Haney. And I respect Devin Haney because he's fought some people, he went undisputed, but like, the skill set don't match the hype. Turkey just bought Ring Magazine. That's cool. Good for him. He'll be out of boxing within 5 years. Brandon D. Hooker says, I see you moving around, BT. What can you tell me about Marquise Taylor opponent December 13th and your thoughts about Showtime Shawn Porter coaching him? Very, very interesting. Now, I haven't seen who Marquise Taylor is fighting, so you can put me on game to who his opponent is, and then if I know who it is, I'll tell you what I know about them. As far as Marquise Taylor being with Shawn Porter, I got a text on my phone, like, I'm going to say it was like a week and a half ago, and it was from Shawn Porter, and he was telling, it was a mass text that Shawn Porter sent out to the media that he knows to come to the media workout in Vegas for Marquise Taylor. So I knew Marquise Taylor was fighting soon, and I knew Shawn Porter had something to do with Marquise Taylor, but I didn't even know Shawn Porter was coaching Marquise Taylor, so that's pretty good. I like that. I think Shawn Porter is going to help Marquise Taylor a lot in his career. Marquise Taylor is high volume puncher, kind of like Shawn Porter was, knows how to put punches together, deceptively strong, knows how to push fighters back. I remember when he fought, I'm going to say it was, who was that Cuban he fought? Yoelvis Gomez. When he fought Yoelvis Gomez, he put together a really good performance. I remember it was very crafty, a lot of counter punching, was able to push him back in spots. I think Shawn Porter is going to take the strengths of Marquise Taylor, the things he already does well, and just magnify him. So, yeah, I'm happy to see Shawn Porter get into coaching. I mean, Shawn Porter's been retired now for 3 years, and he's still, like many fighters, it takes time to get used to life after boxing. And, you know, you've seen Shawn Porter do things on the media side, commentating. You know, at one point in time, as some of you guys know, I was supposed to work with Shawn Porter because he had this passion project for amateur boxing and nothing really ever came of it. But like he's just been trying to find his footing, and I'm glad that he's getting into coaching because he has a lot of value. And how do you cross this damn street? He has a lot of value to give the fighters, and he has a lot of value to give to the sport. So that's good. They're beefing up that tank car with Rao versus Russell. They'll need another banger for me to pay. Yeah, I mean, at this point, look, Al Haymon and PBC, look, we have to call things for what they are. Turki Al-Ashik has created an environment in boxing where 3 of the top 4 power brokers, biggest promoters in boxing, Top Rank, Golden Boy, Matchroom, are all under that umbrella. The only way Al Haymon is going to be able to combat or have a snowball's chance at hell of having a somewhat successful 2025 is if he puts on and stacks every card he's on that he has. Doesn't necessarily mean he has to put out as many cards as Turki, but if every time we know that there's a PBC card, every time we know it's stacked, then that would be a very, very good for him going into 2025. Hold on. These Japanese streets are kind of weird. I don't know if I can cross here because I'm trying to go that way. I'm trying to go that way over there, but there's no crosswalk nowhere. So maybe I'll just I'm not gonna jaywalk because they'll find your ass here for that. But anyway, shout out to everybody here. Devin has accomplished more in his career than Tank, Hitchens, and Shakur. The latter 3 are pushing his late 20s, including boots. No, he's more accomplished. I'm not talking about Devin's accomplishments. Devin is a very accomplished fighter, but Devin is also the most carefully and most well-managed one of the most carefully and most well-managed fighters in boxing. And anyone who knows his career knows that. Devin Haney, I'm not saying he's not good. I'm just saying like there's so much fanfare around Devin Haney even after the Ryan loss, and I see it all the time on Twitter of people just dick riding him. And he's a good fighter, but he's not special. That's what I'm trying to say. And it's not even just Devin. A lot of these guys, because the reality is this, everyone in boxing can't be special. Not everyone in boxing can be special. Shakur can't, like you can't have an environment where 5 fighters are all undefeated and they're all young and they're all special. Special fighters, there's only a handful of those in a generation, you know? Only a handful. And to me, Devin Haney is, like they say in baseball for the Hall of Fame, he's in the Hall of Fame. He's in the Hall of very good. He's a very good fighter. I don't think he's a great fighter. The only way Devin could show me he's a great fighter is if he fought one of the other young guys, like a Tank, like a Shakur, like a T.O., beat him, you know. I don't want to put down George Kambosos Jr. because I love George Kambosos Jr. And I think George Kambosos Jr., not skill-wise, but in terms of how he's moved his career, he's always looked for the biggest and best fights. You can't really complain about a guy like that. But, like, Devin is a much better fighter than George Kambosos Jr. So, he was supposed to beat George both times. Shout out to everybody here. California robotically supports Devin Haney. I'm not into just supporting people because they're from where I'm from. Like, I mean, there's fighters in South Florida. I'm not gonna name them, but there's fighters in South Florida that I don't really like that much, and I'm not gonna support them just because they're from South Florida. You gotta actually be likable and be good, and I have to actually enjoy watching you fight. But to each their own. The networks don't have the budget. Top-rated contract ESPN is ending soon. Turkey is probably negotiating that contract. He's trying to own boxing. He's trying to create a monopoly on boxing, which we'll see. I mean, if he's able to do it, people have always said for years, they said, why can't boxing be a league like UFC? Well, guess what? Turkey's trying to do that. He's trying to do it. He's trying to do what Al Heyman should have tried doing years ago. He's trying to do it. Well, that guy, Harold Smith. There was this guy in the 80s, Harold Smith, that tried to basically do what Al Heyman and Turkey is doing now. So this has always been a thing in boxing, and it'll always be a thing in business. People have a lust for power and status, so we'll see. If that's where we're going in boxing, if I'm wrong, if Turkey is going to be here for the long term, which I don't think he's going to be, because again, the agenda is not for boxing to turn over a profit, and it's not just for the sport. It's to advertise Saudi Arabia. So I just think at some point it'll have run its course. It'll have served its purpose, and the Saudis will pack their stuff up and leave. And plus, not even just that. Not even just it's not even just about the Saudi agenda. Turkey's health is not good. He said it in interviews himself. Half the reason why he's in a rush to make these fights and he wants to see these fights is because he don't know if he's going to live in the next couple of years. So when I say Turkey may not be in boxing long, I'm not wishing bad on him or nothing. But he said it himself. His health ain't great, and that's one of the reasons why he's in a rush to make these big fights happen. Hold on, guys. Let me cross this damn street because there's no crosswalk around here. Hold on. We ain't got no damn crosswalk. I'm not even supposed to be doing this, but give me 1 second, guys. I'm not gonna look at the chat while I'm trying to cross the street, because all right, I made it safe. Let me go that way. Let me go this way. All right, go this way. By the way, there's 31 of you guys here. I appreciate everyone here. How do we got 29, 30 people here, but we only got 12 likes? Come on. A lot of you people were complaining, and I get a lot of messages all the time on social media, people saying, BT, we missed the lives. True School, we missed the lives. You don't go into live no more. We missed when you used to go live. We missed the old BT. You went to Japan and forgot about us. Well, guess what? I'm here now again, another live. I'm starting to build that consistency, and we ain't getting these likes up. So run these likes up, man. Run them up. If there's 29 likes here, there should be at least 19 to 20 likes, minimum. So please do that, because that will help YouTube push this video out to more people that are not subscribed to True School Sports. So it costs a second of your time, and it helps, the channel helps me out. So please do that, and thank you. What do you think about Carmelo's next fight? He's fighting a Filipino, and it's going to be here in Japan on the Ryan Garcia Ampo exhibition card. I don't know much about the guy. He's fighting, to be honest, but it's good to see Carmelo fighting in Japan. I might be there, but I don't know yet, so I don't want to make no promises. But it'd be cool to see Carmelo fight in Japan. I saw Carmelo fight in Cleveland when he was an amateur. I saw him fight in Las Vegas earlier this year, so it'd be cool to see him fight in Japan. I like Carmelo, and even though he even though he basically, missed weight by 14 pounds, I thought you stopped doing lives due to Hrgovic losing. Haha, you're funny. By the way, Hurricane Hank, Philip Hrgovic would still beat the fuck out of Anthony Joshua. I'm still standing on that. He would still beat the living dog shit out of Anthony Joshua. So if Anthony Joshua ever want a comeback fight and he wants some smoke, Hrgovic will beat him in the retirement. He lost to Dubois, and funny enough, since you brought up Hrgovic, that loss has actually aged pretty well, because when Hrgovic fought Dubois and he lost to him, Dubois was coming in with his head, not getting warned, all that stuff. He was coming with his head, not getting warned, just allowed to get away with a lot of illegal stuff. And Hrgovic was winning rounds. He was winning rounds, landing the right hand at will. Credit to Dubois for showing durability. But when your boy Joshua, who you were talking out the side of your lip about, oh, he gonna beat Hrgovic, he gonna do this. When he fought Dubois, he got his ass waxed from the first second of the first bell to the very, very end. So Hrgovic lost. It is what it is. Dubois was the better man on that day. But I know Hrgovic will still beat the fuck out of Anthony Joshua. In fact, seeing how Joshua fought against Dubois validated that to me. So I'm hoping that's a fight that can happen in 2025. And yeah. My dad says, keep talking that boxing, BT. Thank you, Pops, for the super chat. Appreciate you, Dad. I stopped doing lives because I've been moving across the country, and I was in camp with Angelo and had all types of shit going on in my life. So that's what it was. But I'm here now. That's not an excuse. He lost. I didn't make no excuse. I said Hrgovic lost to Dubois. Dubois was the better man. I don't make excuses. When my guys lose, I just say they lost. And sometimes, like, when fighters that I know lose, I be knowing, like, crazy shit that happens behind the scenes, and I never bring it up on video. Never. Hrgovic lost. Philip loses to Joshua. Philip was a hype job who won a controversial decision against Zhang. He damn near shut Zhang out in the second half of the fight. Don't get mad at Hrgovic because Zhilei Zhang, every fight, whether it's Hrgovic, Parker, whoever he fights, don't get mad at Hrgovic because Zhang doesn't have any conditioning and starts blowing out of his ass after the 5th round in every single fight. Jerry Forrest, whatever his name was, Forrest, dropped him like 2-3 times. Forrest won the whole second half of the fight. Don't say he won a controversial decision because, every fight he has, second half he's always blowing out of his ass. Hrgovic was hyped over sparring stories. Hrgovic is hyped because he's still, and I'm still standing on it. I'm not going to move off what I was saying. I still think Philip Hrgovic is one of the best heavyweights in the world. He lost. Dude, and you know what? The beautiful thing about boxing is we get new information as time goes on. Daniel Dubois is a lot tougher and a lot better than people thought. And look what he did to Joshua. Look what he did to Hrgovic. Look what he's done. Look how he's come back. In my opinion, might be he deserves a lot of consideration for 2024 Fighter of the Year. So, Dubois, I'm not even gonna talk about Hrgovic like that. I'm gonna give Dubois his just due because that's what I do. When fighters win and they show out and they kick ass like Dubois has been doing, not just with Hrgovic but just anybody he's been fighting, I go ahead and I give him his credit. I'm rooting for Caballero to beat them all. Usyk, not too sure though. Caballero, another really good fighter. Caballero has come along really well this year. He's fighting Zhang. That's a good fight. That's going to be a tough fight for Caballero. What Caballero has going for him in that fight is the fact that Caballero is someone that he's got a great gas tank. He probably has one of the best gas tanks in the heavyweight division, and he's pretty well-rounded everywhere else as a fighter. Zhang, we know he's overpowered when it comes to being a puncher and a knockout artist, but he's not. His stamina is not up to par. So I think it'll be a good fight. It's a tough one to pick. I'm probably gonna lean towards Zhang because I think Zhang is gonna go ahead and land something big early, like in the first 6 rounds. But if he don't, it's as simple as this. If he don't land a big knockout shot in the first 6 rounds, then Caballero probably outwork him, get on the inside, smother his shots, go to the body. Probably grind him down to a decision, I think. Something like that. Yeah, I thought like, I know I've had people tell me, because I got a friend from Germany. I'm going to sit down. I'm tired of walking. I'm going to sit down for a little bit. We'll sit by the water. But I had a friend who's from Germany, and shout out to everybody who's here rocking with me. I can't believe we're already 40 minutes in. You know, time just flies by on these lives. But I had a friend tell me who's from Germany that it wasn't Caballero who ducked Bakole. It was Bakole pricing himself out. So I don't know. I'm not privy to that information. All I know is Martin Bakole couldn't get fights before Jared Anderson, and it seems like he's having a hard time getting fights after Jared Anderson. So I hope that in 2025 Martin Bakole can be in big time fights, because he deserves to be in the big time fights. He's an exciting fighter. He's worth people's time, and he's dangerous, super dangerous. Bakole's gonna get found out real soon. Technically, he already got found out years ago when he fought Michael Hunter, and Michael Hunter stopped him. Maybe Bakole in the intermediate time could do the Michael Hunter rematch. If you can't get none of these other fighters to fight, I'm sure Michael Hunter would love to fight Martin Bakole again, because Bakole has built up a good little name for himself, a good little reputation, and Michael Hunter, I know, will be eager to fight him. But Michael Hunter, I don't know. Michael Hunter, it's like another guy. I had some hope. I had some high hopes for Michael Hunter like 5-6 years ago, when he had some promise, and then he ducked Filip Hrgović in the IBF eliminator, and then he didn't really take his opportunity when he fought Povetkin on the Joshua Ruiz undercard. And then earlier this year, he put on quite possibly one of the worst fights I've ever been to in person, which is his fight against Cassius Chaney. So it'd be nice to see, if he can get his shot again. And because I feel like a winner against Bakole would be Michael Hunter's ticket back into heavyweight relevancy, like being truly relevant in heavyweight boxing again. I'm not going to say that would bring American heavyweight boxing back, but it will be a feel-good story, something, because we ain't got no damn heavyweights, because they're all playing in the NFL and the NBA. And Bakole is getting way overhyped over beating an untested Jared Anderson. Yeah, I mean, I've always thought he was a top contender, because even before Anderson, I remember when he fought, he's beaten a lot of guys that were not really that great, in my opinion. Like, he beat Tony Yoka, who I never really thought a whole lot of. He beat Jared Anderson, who I never really thought a whole lot of. Who else did he fight? Did he fight Johan Duhaupas or Helenius? I think he might have fought one of those guys too, beat them, but I can't remember right now. But he's a good fighter, heavy hands, a lot of work rate. Bakole has grown since the first Hunter fight. I got Bakole as the third best heavyweight in the world. That's not... Let me see. Usyk, Fury, and then... I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know if he would beat Dubois and Joseph Parker. And I still don't think he'd be... I don't know if he... I have to see Bakole against, like, Dubois, Parker, Hrgović, something like that. I would love to see Bakole versus Anthony Joshua. That's a fight I like to see, because Joshua, he needs to fight someone to get back in the mix. Bakole's name got a lot of buzz right now, so why not that fight? But yeah, if we lose Tank Davis in boxing, we're not really losing anybody that's like carrying the responsibility of boxing properly. Because when you're one of the biggest stars in boxing, you can't. It's not just about selling tickets and making weight, and it's like everything. Like, you got to do everything you can to make sure that the sport's going in the right direction, like the way Mike Tyson did back in the day. Or, I'm not no Canelo fan, but he fought in enough big events to create fans and push boxing forward. So it's like, I don't know, man. I'm conflicted. I like Tank. I would like to see him fight a couple more years and let them all be massive, big, mega fights, but he don't really seem like he got the competitive drive for that, at all. So he wants to just go chill on an island and enjoy his life and be at peace. And, who's to blame him? It's a tough sport. It's the hardest sport in the world to make it in. Tank is just trying to sell this trash fight. Yeah, probably. Probably because nobody like, and Lamont Roach keeps getting mad about it on social media, and I like Lamont Roach. He keeps getting mad about it on social media, but like, what are we supposed to think? Like, what are the boxing fans supposed to think about Lamont Roach versus Tank? Are we supposed to look at chicken shit and think it's chicken salad? Because that's what we're being served. The boxing fans in America are being served chicken shit on a cold platter, and they want us to call it chicken salad. It's not chicken salad. It's chicken shit. Lamont Roach hasn't even proved himself fully at the 130 division as one of the top champions. He hasn't been in a unification fight. He had one defense against Patrick McCroy that very few people saw unless you watch Pro Box cards. He's not a big puncher at 130. They're bringing him up to 135. We don't care that you used to fight at 135. We don't care that you had a whole career at 135 and you're supposedly supposed to be bigger than Tank, and so that's going to give you some sort of advantage. If that was really the case, if Lamont Roach, and I want to address this because there's people on YouTube that I've seen that have been like, oh, well, Lamont Roach was a 135 pounder. You guys don't know boxing. No, some of us do know boxing. And if Lamont Roach was really this top 135 pounder, like some people want to say to try to sell this trash ass Tank fight, then guess what? Lamont Roach would have stayed at 135 his whole career from the beginning, and he would have been making noise there, and he would have been champion already at 135. But guess what? He went down to 130 because he can't punch at 135. He can barely he's a slightly above average puncher at 130, but he's not like a big thunderous puncher at 130. So that's why he's at 130, because it was the weight class that gave him the best chance to be world champion. If that was the case for 135, he would have been campaigning at 135, staying at 135 when he got to the world level, but he didn't do that because they didn't give him the best chance to succeed. These are just the facts. So stop trying to tell the boxing fans, stop trying to take chicken shit and sell it as chicken salad. And if Lamont Roach has a problem with people like myself or anybody in the media saying about this sorry-ass fight, then go in the ring on March the 1st and show us that it's not a sorry-ass fight. Please, I'm begging you. It would make so many, like, I don't hate Gervonta Davis, but a lot of people don't like Gervonta Davis. It would make a lot of people's day, it'd make their year in boxing if Lamont Roach somehow went up from 130 to 135 and put a beating on Gervonta Davis. We all know that's not going to happen, but if it did, it would. So he gets a chance to prove to us that this is not a sorry fight, that this is not a trash fight. And if he goes in there and he beats up Gervonta Davis and he shows that he is who he says he is, then we all have to humble ourselves and we all have to acknowledge that Lamont Roach is this exceptional fighter that we didn't think he was, you know? And I guarantee you, he goes in there and beats up Gervonta Davis, he's going to become a lot of people's favorite fighter, because there's a lot of people in boxing that don't like Tank. They're tired of him, you know, being carefully managed. They're tired of the hype. They're tired of being sold that he's this and he's that when he hasn't really been in a legacy-defining fight yet. So, you know, that's my rebuttal. That's my take on, like, Lamont Roach getting mad and Lamont Roach, you know, saying that he can't that he doesn't understand why people are talking shit about him, and he's gonna show us. Please show us on March 1st. Please, I'm begging you to please. I want to be wrong. I want Lamont Roach to go in there. I want him to hurt Tank. I want him to be in a competitive fight. I hope this ain't like Frank Martin. I hope this ain't like these other fights, Hector Garcia, where, you know, Lamont Roach gets hit with the first big counter shot, and then boom, you know, now he's going into survival mode, and Gervonta Davis is just going to go from corner to corner, pinging him around the ring and looking to cut the ring off on him. I hope it's not like that. I hope he don't go into survival mode the first time he get hit, you know, because they know each other. Like, Lamont Roach and Tank, they know each other. They sparred each other back in the DMV area. They fought each other in the amateurs, but that's a long time ago. They was kids. Who cares about what happened in the amateurs when you were kids? You know, a lot changes as you mature and grow older as a fighter. So those are just my thoughts on the fight. But shout out to everybody here. It's your boy BT, Brendan Taylor, True School Sports, the untouchable True School Sports empire, rocking with you live from Takamasu, Kagawa, Japan. That's West Japan, if you don't know, in the Shinkoku Islands. Make sure you smash that like button. Give me your thoughts. Ask me any question you want, boxing related or non-boxing related. Super chat, all that good stuff, because we're here just having a good time, talking boxing. trying to make sense of Gervonta Davis and this whole retirement thing. You know, he want to downplay Shakur Stevenson, but Shakur Stevenson is like 10,000 times better than everyone he's fought on his entire resume, including Pedraza. Like, these Tank fans, man, I don't understand. These Tank fans, they keep talking like Jose Pedraza is this Hall of Fame win. They're like, yeah, he beat Pedraza all those years ago. And I'm like, okay, it's a good win. He was a legitimate champion, but like, Pedraza wasn't nothing special. Pedraza's not a Hall of Famer. Pedraza, quiet as kept. Before Tank beat Pedraza to become champion, and before Pedraza was even the champion himself, Pedraza had a fight on PBC, the old PBC series, Toe-to-Toe Tuesdays, if you guys remember that. PBC used to have a fight series when they first came out called Toe-to-Toe Tuesdays, and they would do fights on Tuesdays. And Pedraza fought Edner Cherry, a French contender named Edner Cherry. Edner Cherry was past it, right? He was past it. Edner Cherry gave Pedraza a fucking boxing lesson that fight. Beat him. They robbed Edner Cherry. So really and truthfully, if you really were following Pedraza's career, it's even debatable that he shouldn't even have been in position to fight for the damn title. That's the truth. So don't give me this, oh, he beat Pedraza. Like it's some ridiculously great like win. It was a fantastic win at the time because Tank was like 20 or 21 years old. He was the youngest world champion in boxing. So he was supposed to build off of that. And I don't think he really, in my opinion, I don't think he really built off of that the way he should. They milked him defending the belt. They took him to the UK. He fought, what was that guy's name? Liam Walsh, who nobody really like knew a lot about. He was the domestic UK fighter. Maybe he might have won a Commonwealth title or something like that, but come on. Is that Tank's biggest win? If not, then what is? Tank's biggest win? It's just hard, man. It's definitely in the discussion. Like the Pedraza win is definitely in the discussion for his best win. Some people would say Leo Santa Cruz, maybe. Who else? Barrios, but again, Barrios. There's not like a lot of substance you can really. For me, the win I will actually give Tank the most credit for is Frank Martin, because Frank Martin, I mean, I know he's not a champion and he's not no pound-for-pound fighter or anything like that, but Frank Martin, you know, I could say even if he is a B-level fighter, he wasn't weight drained, or he wasn't like, there wasn't a, I could be wrong. Maybe there was a clause in there, but like he was, you know, young, close to, you know, his prime, and Tank beat the hell out of him. So that's like the closest thing to like a legitimate win I can think of. All right, Bert Palm. Let me see Bert Palm. Bert Palm is out of here. Bert Palm, you getting packed up. He was weight drained. Yeah, well, he was weight drained because he stayed in the weight class too damn long. That's his fault. I don't think they put a clause on him. Maybe they did. Maybe they did. I mean, I don't know. Like, he needs to fight someone, because the fact that I'm doing this exercise right now and I'm having a hard time putting together who the hell is his best win is telling enough. It might, you know what? I'm gonna go with Pedraza. I'll go with Pedraza only because Pedraza was a legitimate champion and because of Tank's age. We'll go with Pedraza. But my thing is this: if Pedraza is your best win, is that really? Should we really be celebrating Tank as some sort of like Hall of Fame fighter? Because he's not a Hall of Fame fighter. I don't care what he thinks. He's not a Hall of Fame fighter right now. He's got Hall of Fame talent. I'll give him that. He's got Hall of Fame talent. He's got a great boxing IQ. He's got a lot of things, a lot of pluses when it comes to what he brings to the ring, but he has not had a Hall of Fame career. But God bless him, he's lived a Hall of Fame life. To come from Baltimore, where he's come from, you know, one of the roughest ghettos of America to become a millionaire. It's a success on its own. But if we're talking just strictly boxing, he has not had a Hall of Fame career. I'm gonna go with Pedraza. We'll go Pedraza because I can't say Rolly. Can't say Rolly because that's definitely not his best win. Can't say Barrios because Barrios was super weight drained when they fought. I can't say Hugo Ruiz or Jesus Cuellar or any of them guys because those were like smaller guys that he dragged up in weight. So, you know, we'll go Pedraza, the esteemed, the untouchable Jose Pedraza is Tank's best win. So, yep. But yeah, I think we touched up on Tank. So if y'all wanna keep talking boxing, y'all can ask me anything non-Tank related because I'm not about to, I gave Tank about 45 minutes of this first hour of the live. I still got time, so we'll go ahead. Garcia would be his best win if the fight was real, but if it was real, Tank would have lost. After seeing what Ryan did to Devin Haney, even if he was, you know, quote unquote on steroids, I don't know. I would have loved to have seen a fully hydrated Ryan Garcia exchange with Tank. That would have been something. That would hands down be his best win. But again, you call it into question because not only was Ryan weight drained because of the clause that he accepted because Lupe Valencia, his lawyer, who's also like an Al Heyman henchman, he kind of orchestrated that whole thing with the Tank fight. But like we never seen Tank hit by nobody like a fully hydrated Ryan Garcia. So that would have been something to see. But Tank in the build up to that fight, because I remember clearly when they both did the interview on ESPN, Ryan Garcia or Tank was like making fun of Ryan Garcia because he was weight drained. He was like, "Yeah, you haven't eaten today. You weight drained. Shut up and go get something to eat." Like he was actually like taunting the fact that Ryan was weight drained because he knew he was weight drained because he knows that there was a clause put in there. So change of subject. Opetaya's next opponent looks terrible. When I watched highlights, it looks like he didn't know how to fight at all. I don't even know. Like I don't even know who his next opponent is. I saw the name, never heard of him. That doesn't mean he's not. He might not be a good fighter, but Opetaya, he needs to go ahead and step it up. I'm not even saying he got to be in a unification fight, but you know, fight someone. Fight a. I don't know, like a former champion or something. Like a fight I would like to see for Opetaya would be like a Unier Dorticos, the KO doctor, former what is he, WBA champion, IBF champion. That would be a good fight. I would accept that fight, but not whoever this guy is he's fighting. We all know Garcia took a dive. We even have proof. Tank himself posted proof. What was the proof? I don't remember that at all. So refresh my memory. But I need to win some money, so I love and adore these mismatches. Yeah, maybe mismatches make the world go round and round. Let's see, what time is it right now? It's got to be like what? I've been live for an hour. I went live at, it's got to be close to like 12 something. Let me see. It's like almost 1 o'clock here in Japan, so it's almost time to eat. So where should we go eat today, guys? Where should BT go eat today? I'm venturing on a part of town I've never been to, so let me go find somewhere to eat. Tank posted text messages with Ryan. I don't remember that. To be honest, I don't remember that. But yeah, we're 1 hour in. We're damn near an hour into the live. So if you're here, get your questions in. Finally, boxing this weekend's picking up. Boxing's been so damn slow. So I'm happy that I'm really excited about that Hitchens-Paro fight. I know everybody's excited about Espinoza-Obasi in their rematch, and I am too. But for me, the fight this weekend is Hitchens versus Paro. I love that fight. Hitchens, you know, for those of you who follow this channel really closely, if you guys remember back in April when I covered the Hitchens-Gustavo Lemos fight, Hitchens got all pissy at me because he was trying to make weight and losing weight, and then he didn't like that. In my video when the fight got signed, that I said Lemos was going to give him the toughest fight of his career, and I wound up being proven right. And a lot of people thought he lost that fight. And You know, he could have fought for the IBF title a while ago against Subriel Matias. He chose not to because he didn't want to do the whole rehydration clause to fight someone as tough as Matias by his own words. And now he's fighting Paro. So that clause is still in play. He's still gonna have to go ahead and not rehydrate over 10 pounds on the second day weigh-in. And we'll see if if he's gonna have enough energy to box the way he normally boxes. Because we know Hitchens ain't punching like that. Hitchens is not a puncher at all. He's not like, he's accurate, he's sharp, he's got skills, but he's not punching like that. So a guy like him needs to have the stamina, needs to have the conditioning to last the full 12 rounds. Hold on, I need to find some. Where's the food at around here? I'm gonna go this way. He needs to have the ability to land, punch after punch after punch. Ryo FaceTime Ryan Garcia, but I'm not gay, so I don't get it to go my visit like that. If you want to call Ryan a man, Ryan said we can do it for real this time at 140. Oh, okay. I remember Ryan saying that. So you guys interpret that as Ryan saying he took a dive. We can do it for real this time. Ryan just took the damn Tank fight for the money. He took the fight for the money. And not, I don't want to say the money. I don't think the money is what made him take the fight. I think it was the clout. Because Ryan Garcia is addicted to attention, clout. He's addicted to people's, liking his posts, and he's addicted to people, his name being in the headlines. That's the whole reason why he took the fight. That's what really led him to take the Tank fight. But listen, whether it was real or not, he got his ass beat. He lost and took the knee. And I was disappointed. I was hoping Ryan would put up a better fight. If they fight again, they need to fight at like 144.5 with no rehydration clause. But we know that's not going to happen because Leonard Ellerby won't allow it to happen. I think the next good fight that will fall apart is Gary Russell versus Rob Valenzuela. Is that what we're doing now in boxing? We're going to start predicting which good fights coming up fall apart? I'm going to say, if we're doing that, I'm going to say the next good fight that will fall apart in boxing will be Virgil Ortiz versus Israel Madrimov, because Sergey Boychuk is going to put paws and hands and feet on Israel Madrimov, and he's going to knock his head into the upper deck of whatever arena they decide to fight in. How about that one? How's that for a prediction? That's what I hope happens, because I'm just tired of it. Virgil Ortiz is like getting special treatment, in my opinion, because Virgil Ortiz, if he fights Madrimov in February, he's supposed to fight Boychuk in December. And Boychuk, whether he wins or loses that fight against Madrimov, is going to put Madrimov in a tough enough fight for Madrimov to be a compromised opponent in February, right? So that takes away from the Madrimov-Virgil matchup. And then Virgil should be fighting Boychuk anyway in a rematch. So the fact that he's actually getting away from doing the Boychuk rematch, like I've heard almost, I don't even want to say almost, I've heard zero criticism at all. Nobody's getting on Virgil's case about not doing the rematch because I guess he's likable and he's exciting to watch. But no, he should be fighting Boychuk next, not no damn Madrimov. And everything I said about Madrimov before the Crawford fight still applies now. I still don't give a damn. Like he fought a great fight against Terrence Crawford. He's a good skilled boxer. I still don't give a damn about Madrimov. Can we get Boychuk versus Virgil rematch? Or could Virgil at least fight Xander, the other young guy in the weight class? Come on, man. They want Virgil to fight the 147-pounder who can't make 147, who's never fought a 54 before, but they don't want Virgil to fight the other 54-pounders like Boychuk, who he lost to and got a gift, and they don't want Virgil to fight Xander, who's actually a natural 54-pounder. Like, come on, man. Why is Virgil? I like Virgil, but why is Virgil getting all this special treatment? I think he's getting special treatment. And I don't care if I love Virgil Ortiz. I've spoken highly of Virgil. I've even made videos saying that I think one day he will be a very key part in bringing back respect and credibility to the middleweight division. But I don't care about no damn Virgil versus Madrimov. LOL, you don't like the Uzbeks. My MJ criticism is war. That's not true. There's plenty of Uzbeks I like. I just don't like I don't like Jalolov. I don't like Merjan. And I don't want to say that I don't like Madrimov. I'm indifferent towards Madrimov. I just don't care about Madrimov. I don't like him or dislike him. He's just there. So I don't. But there's Uzbeks I like. I like Odabek Komatov. Ain't no one want to see no damn Xander fight. That's not true. I don't agree with that. I think if Xander said yes to the fight, if Virgil and his people would have finalized that fight, I think plenty of people would have liked to see that fight. Oh, the odds at the moment are Madrimov minus 212. Boachuk is a plus 167. That's a good bet. So damn near even money. I'll take that bet. Odabek has not been seen since the loss. I've talked to Odabek a couple of times on Instagram since the Raymond Ford fight. From what I've gathered a couple of things from talking to him. Number one, he did a stint in the Uzbek military. Like he was in the Uzbek military for a little bit. I don't know for what, but like he posted some pictures and I asked him about it. He said it's just like a military training thing that I guess he signed up for a long time ago. So he was doing that for a couple months, and then he got knee surgery, and then from what he's like really now just starting to kind of like last month or so get back in the gym. So I'm hoping 2025 could be better. You know, I'm still pissed with how the Ford Komatov fight went because I thought Komatov was well on his way to winning the fight by decision like I predicted, but you know it's boxing, things happen. Would you want to see Virgil versus Bakram? Hell yeah. I want to see Bakram versus anybody. I don't give a damn. The fight I really want to see is Bakram versus Crawford. But I know Crawford isn't going to do that because Crawford only wants to fight one person. He didn't want to fight nobody at 54. He didn't want to fight nobody at 47. He want to fight Canelo. So, Zayas is 22, yo. He won't get credit if he wins now if he's a second choice. If Madrimov pulls out, maybe he'll be a third choice. Xander is 22, but Xander's been a professional fighter since he was like 17. Remember, Xander Zayas was like the youngest fighter to ever sign a top rank. So he's been a professional fighter for like 5 years already. If he doesn't have 20 fights, he's got to be close to 20 fights now. He's experienced. I don't see why Virgil versus Xander is such a crazy hard fight to make. It should be an easy fight to make. Jalolov KO Torres with some big ass gloves. Now imagine with smaller gloves. Yeah, he did. I've seen that fight before. Probably, he probably would. But I'll tell you this: if they don't start stepping up Jalolov's matchmaking, he's gonna stagnate in his progression, and they may fuck around and give Torres a chance to win just by how they're matching him. In my opinion, I think Jalolov has been one of the softest match prospects in boxing. Even softer than Jared Anderson was. And that's saying something because Jared Anderson, he was getting like witness protection matchmaking from Top Rank. That's just the truth. Like he was fighting Serbians. I didn't even know they had boxing in Serbia. He's fighting like Serbians. I knew Serbians play tennis, but I didn't know they boxed. And somehow they found a couple for Jared Anderson to fight. So that's crazy to me. BT would not have made more sense for Virgil to face Bakram instead. Yes, oh my God. That's what they should have did. But I'll put y'all on game. Virgil ain't fighting Bakram, and it's not an option for him for two reasons. Number one, Bakram is the most high-risk, low-reward world champion in boxing right now. Literally, people know him as the guy that beat Tim Tszyu, but like he doesn't really have anything else. Like he hasn't really been on TV that much all these years, so he doesn't have like a lot of exposure. That's number one. And number two, Robert Garcia knows firsthand about Bakram because Bakram used to train at his gym. Yes, Robert Garcia used to train in Bakram. So who's gonna know what would happen in that fight better than good old Robert Garcia? So that's why I think the fight's not happening. I think Robert knows it's a tough fight. I think they want Virgil to keep looking good and get the big paydays. And right now, Bakram is not gonna offer that to Virgil. And truth be told, Bakram probably won't ever offer that to anybody. But the thing is, See, now you can't play that whole A side, B side shit, or you shouldn't be able to play that A side, B side shit with Bakram because Bakram is champion. Bakram is an exciting fighter that people know beat up Tim Tszyu, and people know who Tim Tszyu is. So he's got a quality one on his resume. And secondly, he's one. You know, they have the Saudis in boxing now. So the Saudis, you know, I know Bakram is a Muslim. The Saudis tend to look after their Muslim brothers when they make these fights happen. So hopefully they do that for this Muslim brother, because this we want to see him in some big fights. We want to see Bakram. I want to see Bakram versus Terrence Crawford. If I was the commissioner of boxing, Terrence Crawford would be fighting Bakram like right away. Because Crawford, nobody cared about the Madrimov fight. Nobody cared about the Madrimov fight. People wanted to like blow it up like this big thing. Nobody asked for that damn fight. Now, to Madrimov's credit, and he does deserve a ton of credit, a heap of credit, he showed that he can box with one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world, and not just more than held his own. I think he had a big case to win the fight, especially when you apply the whole notion of you have to take the belt from the champion. If you apply that to Madrimov Crawford the way people like to do when it's convenient for them, did Crawford really beat Madrimov? I don't know. So, yeah, but nobody asked for that fight. So, maybe that's where my Madrimov like indifference comes from, or dislike comes from, because I was happy for him when he became champion. You know, he's like the golden boy of Uzbek boxing. He's the most popular Uzbek fighter there is in boxing, and I would have loved to have seen, you know, just Crawford in there with a bigger name. That's just me. I'm tired of Terrence Crawford ever since he beat Errol Spence. Ever since he beat Errol Spence, you know, it's like you can't ask him to fight nobody in his weight class. He's too good for everyone now. You know, he meets Rihanna one time and he loses his shit. It was a draw? I mean, yeah, that's fair. I think a draw would have been perfect, actually. A draw would have been very, very perfect for that fight. I don't like the Boachuk disrespect. I don't either. I feel like Boachuk, you know, when we talk about these 54-pounders, the guy that's done everything right in his career, even when things didn't go right for him in the ring, is Boachuk. Like, I remember years ago, Boachuk was knocking everyone out, you know, making a lot of noise as a prospect. And then he runs into Brandon Adams in what was the greatest fight in the history of Ring City, USA on Thursday nights in Puerto Rico. Brandon Adams does the unthinkable and knocks him out. And did Boachuk, you know, sit on the shelf? Did Boachuk feel sorry for himself? No. What did Boachuk do? He built his career up. He started fighting whoever he could get in the ring. That's who he fought. Wins like 4 or 5 fights in a row. Builds himself back up in the rankings the honest way, the hard way, the tough way, the way it used to be done in boxing. When you lose a fight. Then, when the opportunity came to fight Virgil Ortiz, one of the baddest young fighters in the game, what did he do? He put Virgil on his ass 2 times. Then got robbed. Then they're putting him in this fight, Madrimov, right, in December, which we all knew about if you've been following the news. But now they're doing it with the fact that the Virgil Ortiz fight is already signed. And whenever a fight is already signed and a fighter has to go fight another fighter who's signed to fight a bigger fight after him, he knows he can't be in a close fight or a competitive fight because he's not getting a decision. So I hate it. I feel like they're putting Boachuk in a position to absolutely positively for him to get fucked again, and I don't like that. He's a top fighter. He's one of the best 54-pounders in the world, and he's one of those guys that right now he should be fighting for the title. He should be fighting like the Fonduras or the Crawfords or the Bakrams, but such is life, such is boxing. It ain't life, and boxing ain't always fair. Guts and Glory says Shushu Carrington loses to Nick Ball, Angelo Leo, Robeisio Ramirez, Rafael Espinoza, and Inoue when he reaches 126. Right now, I would agree with you just because I think Shushu has to develop more. The guy that I would give him the best chance, though, with, out of all those guys you named, would be Robeisy Ramirez. I think he'd have a slight shot at Robeisy Ramirez because, and I told Timothy, make sure you guys go subscribe to Timothy Bradley's new YouTube channel. He did a video on his channel called, it was one of the first videos he did. It was called Bruce Carrington Will Be World Champion. And I commented on that video on my assessment of what I think it would take to beat that Bruce Carrington and the kind of style matchup that I think he would need to get in order to become a world champion. And the only guy around these weights that will present him with the style matchup to potentially become a world champion, I think is Robeisy, because Shushu is a mid-range dominant fighter. Like he is a straight mid-range. He don't got really much of an inside game. He don't got an outside game, and he needs to constantly set his feet when he goes to attack. So he can definitely be outboxed, and he can definitely be beat up on the inside. He needs you mid-range to get his shit off. And I think Robeisy with the way Robeisy fights, he would give him enough opportunities mid-range to have success and build confidence in that fight. But even then, even in that fight, I would still slightly favor Robeisy Ramirez. Tank is not playing. Y'all don't appreciate real skills. No, I do appreciate real skills. Tank, thus far, they put 27 guys in front of him. He knocked out 25 of them. So I respect the consistency. I respect his skill set. What I don't respect is how anytime people bring up a fighter that is deemed to be a top challenge to him, i.e. Shakur Stevenson and or Keyshawn Davis and or Teofimo Lopez and or Devin Haney, it's immediately shot down by Gervonta Davis and his handlers. And we have to act like he doesn't need to fight these guys because it's already a foregone conclusion that he could beat these guys. No, you don't win fights by hearsay, and you damn sure don't win fights off a reputation. You win fights off of going in the ring and showing, improving on a consistent basis that you're really, really like that. And Gervonta Davis has proven he's like that against the guys he's been fighting, but not the guys that people want to see him fight. And that's where the criticism comes in. That's where maybe, in your estimation, the lack of appreciation for real skills don't come in. It's not a lack of appreciation for real skills. If anything, it's actually, in most people's cases, because we know how Tank has real skills, that we want to see him in these big fights, and that he doesn't, and the fact that he's not in these fights is why he's getting criticized. He's not getting criticized because he doesn't have real skills and that people don't appreciate him. No, it's the opposite. People know he has real skills and they do appreciate his skills, and they want to see those skills properly matched up with other guys who have or are perceived to have the same skills as him. And if he proves that the Shakur Stevensons, the Devin Haneys, the Teofimo Lopez, the Keyshawn Davis, these young guns that people want to see him fight, if those guys are not on his level and he whacks those guys out the ring like he did to Frank Martin and Hector Garcia and Ryan and all these other guys he fought, then that's gonna put Tank on another level. Now people are gonna say, damn, well, Tank really is like that, and it didn't matter if he fought those guys. They'll give him his credit. That's all I'll say. I don't want to keep rambling in circles, but I said this before. Tank could move up to 147 and fight Stan Illinois for his title, but he won't do that because he ain't built like that. I mean, I'm not gonna clamor for Gervonta Davis to move up to 147. I think that's unfair, and I think there's a lot of worthy opponents at 135 and 140 to fight. But shit, why not? I'm not gonna like cry over it, but I mean, it wouldn't be a bad thing. Yeah, Delos Santos would be a good fight. Why not Delos Santos? You know, the dude that beat up Raul Valenzuela. Everyone forgets. You know, Raul became champion, had a good performance against Eastside Pitbull Cruz, but I didn't forget. I was there in the flesh in LA when Edwin De Los Santos put hands and feet all over Raul Valenzuela and knocked him out the damn ring. Let me see. But yeah, nobody hates on Tank because he doesn't have skills. We don't appreciate real skills. My question would be is, you're talking about Tank having real skills. What real skills I mean, I know what his real skills are, but since you brought up real skills, what are his real skills? Break it down for me. Since we don't appreciate it, break it down for us. Rumors Shakur fights Zepeda after Schofield. Does Zepeda high volume ring cutting pressure outpower Shakur? No, absolutely not. I think Shakur Stevenson is absolutely going to go ahead and positively expose William Zepeda, and they're going to show you why. He's going to show why Zanfer Promotions and Golden Boy have been matching him so carefully. And by the way, they tried matching him carefully against Tevin Farmer, and it almost didn't even work out for him. He got put on his ass by Tevin freaking Farmer. So Zepeda obviously is a great volume puncher. He has a great gas tank. But I think Shakur Stevenson, the subtle skills that he has, like he's really good at manipulating his opponent's guard, slowing the pace down. Obviously, he's hard to hit. Some people will say he's a runner, so to speak. But I just think Shakur Stevenson is too well-rounded, too skilled for William Zepeda. William Zepeda has one of the attributes I feel you need to have to beat Shakur Stevenson, which is being a volume puncher. I think guys who are volume punchers can give Shakur some problems. I think Zepeda may have some moments in the fight where he does give Shakur some problems, but ultimately I think Shakur Stevenson is going to cut that punch volume in half. I think people are going to really start to appreciate Shakur Stevenson's ability to fight in the pocket, because he can fight in the pocket. I've seen it in countless fights. I've seen it when I seen him spar a couple years ago in the gym at Top Rank, and yeah, Zepeda's a good fighter, but he's not on that level, in my opinion. I think the better fight would be, honestly, in my opinion, whether Floyd Schofield wins or loses to Shakur, I would love to see Floyd Schofield fight Zepeda. I think that stylistically, that'd be an interesting fight. I think their styles would probably mesh better. I think Floyd Schofield's shifting and his physical strength and his punching power, those things would mesh really well. But yeah, that's my opinion. The funny thing about Munguia is he actually fought better fighters than Zepeda at similar points in their careers. BB Smith and Takashi Inoue. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. You know, you guys know I've always been a detractor of Chaim Munguia. I was a Chaim Munguia hater, to be honest with you, because I felt like he was protected. But yeah, if we're comparing Munguia to Zepeda, Munguia fought tougher competition, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. It's not even close. And you mentioned the names. And then he's even went ahead and fought guys like, you know, Sergey Derevyanchenko, who I think is also better than anybody William Zepeda has fought thus far. And I think, look, I'm pretty sure I said this the last time, but I'll say it again. I feel like Zanfer Promotions and Golden Boy, they both know something about William Zepeda that we probably don't. That's why Zepeda keeps getting matched in there with Maxie Hughes and Giovanni Cabrera and Tevin Farmer, these pillow-fisted fighters who are good fighters, you know, hand-picked fighters, but, you know, guys that Zepeda just walks right through. In Tevin Farmer's case, he didn't walk right through Tevin Farmer. Tevin Farmer, who's not a big puncher, put him on his ass and probably should have won that fight. What are your thoughts about Arabelle and Malik Montgomery at 130? Why are they carefully matchmaking and fighting C-class opposition? I can't speak of Malik Montgomery because I haven't followed his career the closest. I know who he is. I think I see them fight one time years ago. And I know there are people in boxing that are high on Malik Montgomery, but I don't know enough about his career to make an assessment. But with Arabelle, what I can tell you about Arabelle, the reason why he's fighting C-class opposition, I just think is because he doesn't have any money behind him. Sometimes there are fighters that will fight, that will take tough fights and will be in the good fights. But then like, there's other fighters that don't have the resources or the people behind them to make those moves. And he's not enough he was never enough of a priority to Top Rank to make the fights that he should have been in. Because he was like the 130 number one contender in the WBO for like the longest time. Could never get no motion, no like real defining fights in his career. So I just think in the case of Arabelle, I think it's more of like a resource thing than it is like you know, ducking anybody. Because the one thing boxing fans I think don't understand sometimes is that it costs money to build a fighter. Like any fighter you can think of at any level of boxing, when you're trying to progress a career, everything costs money. So to get a good opponent costs money, and if you don't have a manager who's fronting you the money to get these opponents to the ring, then it's hard to really move your career. That's just the truth. I don't know Arabella's whole situation. I'm just telling you what I think from how I've seen Top Rank treat him, how I've seen him in the rankings. That's what I think. And maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I think. This guy Munguia is getting ready to fight is a bum with a capital B. Munguia has fought 4 times this year. This will be his 4th fight in 2024. He can fight at least one can. You know, he fought John Ryder. He fought Canelo. Oh no, wait, Canelo was last year. He fought John Ryder. He fought that last guy he fought, who was pretty good. I forgot his name. He fought him. Like, he's fought some decent people. He fought John Ryder. Was Canelo this year or last year, guys? Refresh my memory. Was Canelo this year or last year? I can't remember what Jaime Munguia. But I know this will be his 4th fight. So if a guy's fighting 4 times in a year, he can fight at least one can. He can fight a guy that's not gonna pose any threat to him, in my opinion. That's part and parcel of being active. You can't be active and just fight champions and top contenders. Charles Conwell is 154 pounds with Golden Boys. Do you think Virgil at 154 will eventually fight him? I think Conwell deserves a chance. I think it was you or somebody else had mentioned Conwell. You guys mentioned Conwell against Boachuk. I think Conwell versus Boachuk's a great fight. As far as Conwell versus Virgil, Golden Boy signed Conwell. So my thing is, you don't make the move to sign Conwell unless Conwell is a Virgil opponent. But see, now Golden Boy aligned himself with Turki Al-Sheikh in Riyadh season. So now there's more money involved to put Virgil in bigger, more attractive fights than Conwell. So Conwell, like, he might be a fighter that because of Riyadh season and Turki Al-Sheikh and Golden Boy working with them, he might get the short end of the stick. And that sucks for him. I hope that's not the case. I hope he can go ahead and build his career. I hope he can get the Virgil fight, because Conwell can fight and Conwell is credible and Conwell does deserve a chance to test his skills against Virgil Ortiz. Virgil Ortiz ain't unbeatable. I mean, Boachuk showed us that Virgil Ortiz got his fair share of flaws. So, yeah, give Conwell a shot. Kevin Bazinian, yeah, thank you. Kevin Bazinian, I was drawing a blank. Yeah, Kevin Bazinian is the guy I was thinking about. Kevin Bazinian is a good fighter. Kevin Bazinian, you know, didn't have the know-how with how to execute his game plan fully with Munguia. But Kevin Bazinian, he gave Munguia some hell in that fight. That was a good win. Conwell versus Majumov is the only fight I like to see him in. Yeah, why not? Just get Conwell in a relevant fight. Dude that spent a lot of his career with management problems, you know, came into the sport as a highly touted guy, and he hasn't really been afforded a chance to move his career properly. So I want to see him in something meaningful before it's all said and done. Speaking of Conwell, he's fighting a tune-up on next weekend on the Roach Korea undercard. Oh wow! So he's fighting a tune-up fight on the biggest card remaining in America for 2024. Alexis Rocha versus Raul Cordial. Did y'all know that? Did y'all know that the biggest card remaining in America on American soil for the rest of 2024 is Rocha versus Cordial? Couldn't believe it when I looked at the boxing calendar. I couldn't believe it. Crazy, but good for Conwell. Happy he's staying active. If Keyshawn Davis defeats Baranchik, does Keyshawn Davis have a good chance against Raymond Muratai, Andy Cruz, or even Zepeda at 135? I think Keyshawn Davis would beat the hell out of Raymond Muratai, in my opinion. Raymond would have a chance to counterpunch in between the shots of Keyshawn, but Raymond Muratai to me is just like, if you guys want to know a prospect that I think is ridiculously overrated, I'm gonna go with probably Muratai. Who else? Who else quite I think of that I'm not really high on? Muratai. Yeah, I'll go Muratai. He's strong, but like he needs a certain style to look good. That's what I learned from his career so far. Like when he fought Diego Torres, when he fought Jesus Perez. He needs a certain style to come forward towards him. Anyone who can move and counterpunch is gonna give him problems. And for that reason, I favor Keyshawn over him. Keyshawn against who? Who else? Andy Cruz? Nah, that's tough. That's a tougher fight. I would still slightly favor Keyshawn, but that's tough though. I don't want to say that with confidence because, you know, Andy Cruz is like Keyshawn's like father. He beat him like 4 times in the amateurs, but amateurs and pros is different. I'll very slightly go with Keyshawn, and then I already made my opinions known on Zepeda. I don't think Zepeda is on that elite level. I think he's one of the most carefully matched fighters in boxing. So I'll go with Keyshawn against the field on that one. But I would say the guy that would give him the toughest fight out of that bunch would definitely be probably Andy Cruz. Zepeda doesn't have the durability like people think. His durability is questionable. That's why Golden Boy keeps putting him in there with like pillow-fisted southpaws. And yeah, Murataya, I just think Murataya maybe could be Keyshawn one day, but Murataya needs more development. He needs to see different styles. He needs to be in there with more counterpunchers. I need to see Ray Murataya fight another counterpuncher, and I need to see him making an adjustment. Because when he fought Tevin Farmer, I didn't see him making an adjustment. That's why I'm having a hard time being high on Murataya, because if he runs into a counterpuncher, he's shown that he can't make that adjustment. But when you put like a come forward, front foot dominant fighter in front of Murataya, oh, he's dangerous. You don't want to. You come at Murataya the wrong way, sideways, you're gonna get freaking beat the hell up. So not everyone can beat Ray Murataya. It's just a certain style that I seem having trouble with. So but we'll see. You know, fighters develop, they get better, they get worse. It's all about how they go to the gym and make the adjustments. Mexican boxing #1. So you know he's gonna be fair and objective. He says, you don't know boxing. Keyshawn's best win is a guy coming off of a loss. Talking about Lemos? He didn't really, I mean, most people will tell you he didn't really lose that fight, but I hear you. What's Ray Murataya's best win? I'm not even sure if you like Ray Murataya, but I'm going to assume you're getting your panties in a bunch because I talked about a Mexican or Mexican-American fighter and didn't say he was the best fighter of the division. So I got to assume with the name like Mexican boxing #1, you're going to get pissy and get your panties in a bunch and get your pussy hurt anytime somebody talks trash about, not trash, but doesn't praise the Mexican fighter to like the ends of the earth. I have to assume that with your name being Mexican boxing #1. And mind you, I love Mexican boxing. I definitely love Mexican women. You know, so there's no shade on Mexico or Mexican boxing or boxers. I don't want to say, I don't think Emiliano Vargas is overrated. I think he's flawed, but I wouldn't say he's overrated. I think he's a really good offensive fighter. I think he's got some intangible things you can't teach. But, again, he's going to need to clean his defense up, because if he fights someone that can take his punches and that can counter punch in the middle of his shots and isn't overwhelmed by the speed and the quickness and the athleticism of Emiliano Vargas, he's gonna have problems. So I wouldn't say he's overrated, but he's definitely flawed. Like, he's just flawed. There's a difference between being a flawed fighter but who still like has the talent to be a top fighter, and then there's overrated. Overrated just means, it doesn't mean that the fighter isn't good, but it means that the ability and or the ceiling of that fighter is not as high as the promoters or networks say it is. And in that case, Ray Murataya to me fits the bill. Emiliano Vargas versus Abdullah Mason in the future. Will Emiliano capitalize on Abdullah Mason's Amir Khan-like chin? You think Abdullah has I don't think he has an Amir Khan-like chin. That's kind of messed up. I got no problem with you questioning his durability, but Amir Khan? I say, you're basically saying Abdullah Mason has like the worst chin in boxing, because that's what Amir Khan had his whole career, the worst chin in boxing, no durability. But I do think, Abdullah Mason, because he's so offensive-minded, it's gonna give Vargas plenty of chances to capitalize and use his athleticism and his speed. But the thing is, like, Abdullah Mason is like the more fundamentally sound fighter. So those first couple rounds, I'm sure Abdullah will have like an old crap moment and an old shit moment where he's like, oh wow, the speed is crazy. But eventually he's gonna go ahead and adjust to the speed, and then how will Emiliano adjust, you know? Michael Conlan has the worst chin today. Mick Conlan didn't have a good chin, you're right. BT, if you were Ernesto Mercado's manager, who would be his next 3 fights? That's a great question. I would say Montana Love. I think Montana Love versus Mercado will be a good fight for him at this time, because Montana Love, he's a slick counterpuncher who has somewhat of a name, who I think he could beat. So I would say Montana Love, maybe like a Lipinets, something like that. I'll go Montana Love, George Kambosos Jr., and then and then after that, like somebody in the top 5, someone like that. That's probably what I would. Something like, I don't have the rankings in front of me. I don't have like the landscape in front of me. I'm just thinking of names and guys that I think would make sense for him that I know have worked with Matchroom and things like that. Does Brian Norman at 147 get defeated by Conor Benn, Stanionis, and Jin Sasaki? Brian Norman, I think, would beat Conor Benn, but it'd be a good fight. Stanionis, I think Stanionis, I would lean slightly towards Stanionis in that fight, just because I think Stanionis is a little stronger than Brian Norman, and Brian Norman, you know, does get hit a little easier. And then as far as him against Jin Sasaki, that one's just about whoever lands their shit first. They both got defense they need to work on. That's probably like the top 3 fight I want to see in the division: Sasaki versus Brian Norman Jr. That's damn near a pick 'em to me. Oh yeah, Jose Ramirez got exposed against Mendoza. You mean Barbosa? You're talking about Arnold Barbosa. Yeah, they finally fought. Listen, man, he lost to Arnold Barbosa, so it's not hard to see why. What was it, like a year ago or so? A year and some change ago, Rick Regan was keeping him clear from Regis Prograis. Regis Prograis would have beat Ramirez when they were supposed to fight, but Ramirez didn't want that smoke. I was the biggest Mick Conlan believer ever, man. He just didn't have the chin to make it. Yeah, he didn't. And it's unfortunate, because a lot of guys, they have all the talent in the world, but they lack their abilities. That's why I'm saying, like, when you get a fighter that has a little bit of everything, the speed, the power, the boxing IQ, the chin, you got to appreciate them. It's a hard sport to make it in, because you, at the world-class level, if you lack even one thing, you will go ahead and you have a hard time. Have you visited Tekken Boxing Gym in Japan and watched sparring there? No, I haven't visited Tekken Boxing Gym. I'm not even in Tokyo right now, but when I'm going back to Tokyo in about 2 weeks. When I go back to Tokyo, it's on the list. I will try to I'm gonna make an appointment to try to go over there and go see what Tekken Boxing Gym is about. But I was at a boxing gym last night, and I did interview somebody last night, so I'm excited to get to work on that interview. It was probably the best out of all the Japanese interviews I've done so far, and all the Japanese gym visits I've done so far. The one I did last night, I believe, was the best one. I already announced it on Instagram who it was, and I'll tell you guys who it is now, because for those of you who watched the last live, you may remember I mentioned that I was interviewing one of the 9 Japanese world champions, the currently active world champions. The champion that I interviewed last night, and I had a great interview with him, and his gym was so welcoming, so accommodating. They were just such great people over there. The fighter that I interviewed was Seigo Yuri Akui, the WBA flyweight champion. So yeah, I posted about it on Instagram earlier, and I gotta work on editing the video. There's so much footage to go through, like training footage of him hitting the bag, shadow boxing, all that stuff. And I gotta go actually chop the interview down and whatnot, edit it and whatnot. So stay tuned for that. That'll be out probably within the next, I'm gonna say 2 or 3 days. I'm not sure when, but 2 or 3 days. Seigo Yuri Akui. So yeah, man, things are really starting to move here in Japan. I've got confirmation from a couple other Japanese fighters about them wanting to do interviews. 2 of them are both world champions. two of them are both currently world champions, and the other ones are top Japanese prospects / contenders. So once I actually go ahead and do the interviews, I will let you guys know who they are. But yeah, it's a good thing. Things are moving in Japan. I was in a chat a few days ago saying how the media overrates Callum Smith massively. Then Spencer Oliver said he was a pound-for-pound guy 12 months ago. Callum Smith, at no point in his entire boxing career, and I saw the clip, talkers, he was at no point in his entire boxing career a pound-for-pound top 10 guy. I don't know why. And it's funny because before Spencer Oliver even said that, I did a video yesterday. I haven't posted it yet because I have to edit it. I made like 12 interviews. I made 12 videos that I haven't even posted yet, just me talking about boxing. And one of the videos was about Callum Smith versus Buatsi. And literally, like, the video is like 7 or 8 minutes long. And for probably 5.5 minutes of the video, it's just me talking about how Callum Smith is overrated. So it's funny that all that came out now. Seigo was a great guy, genuine family man, a hard worker as well. Seigo Yuriokui is legitimately not just one of the nicest boxers I've ever met. He's one of the nicest human beings I've ever met in my entire life. So respectful to me and my translator when we came into the door. You know, he went and got chairs for us to come and sit and watch us train. He genuinely seemed happy that we were there to interview him, you know, which I'm sure, like, here in Japan, they have 9 world champions, and he's very, like, he's lower on the list of, like, popularity-wise. Like, he's not as big as Kenshiro or Inoue or Junta Nakatani. And he's not from Tokyo, and he's not from Yokohama, and he's not from Osaka, and he's not from the big cities of Japan. He's from all the way out here in the West Japan, that's out the way, and I'm sure he don't get, like, as much media coverage as those guys. So I'm sure he was appreciative, and I had a great time, and it was the most out of all the gym visits, because I think now in Japan I've been to 7 boxing gyms. I've been to 7 boxing gyms. I've done 7 interviews with last year and this year combined. I've done 7 interviews here in Japan. Last night's interview with Seigo Yuriokui was hands down the most enjoyable and the most fun I had at any gym by far. Not saying the other gyms weren't great, but it was just more so like how respectful and how nice he was that made it such an enjoyable experience for me and my translator Taihei. So yeah, thank you to Seigo, and stay tuned for that. Emiliano Vargas switches stances like our girl super bad, but he's off balance and could get caught with a counter versus top opposition. Yeah, like, not everyone is Sinisa Estrada. You know, Sinisa Estrada does that shit, like, seamlessly. He's not on that level, but, you know, he needs to be careful with that, because, like, when he fights a more fundamentally sound fighter, like an Abdullah Mason in the future, that's something that could get him in trouble. Are there any potential options for ring girl interviews? You know, I haven't thought about that. I haven't thought about interviewing the ring car girls. Maybe if I go to one of those shows in Shinjuku, Tokyo again, I can go interview them, because they're pretty nice. Tekken ring car girls. I never seen the Tekken ring car girls. Are they nice? I never seen them. But yeah, shout out to all 23 of you guys rocking with me as I'm sitting here in my customary spot by the water. This is becoming the spot right here by the water, talking to you guys about boxing, rambling away. You know, make sure you smash that like button and get your questions in. Kid Kansas was a killer, wasn't he? A killer what? I mean, I was never high on Kid Kansas. You guys like I don't want to put Alan Garcia down. I like him. Like, I actually know Alan Garcia. He's a good person, you know. But as far as the boxing is concerned, I was never really high on him. I didn't see him as like a world beater. But I'll tell you guys a story. I remember one time back in, what was it, March or April? Whenever Oscar Valdez fought Liam Wilson, I took this girl to the fight with me, because I wasn't working media. I was just there as a fan enjoying the fight. And I took this girl to the fight with me. And she's a model, I guess. She's a model chick. And she doesn't know shit about, like, she's friends with a lot of boxers, but she doesn't know shit about boxing. So she was like, Alan Garcia is just so good. Like, he just has such a unique style. You know, he goes in there, he sees what he wants, and he takes it. And then I told her, I'm like, Are you sure? Are you sure about that? Like, are you sure he's like that? He's like, yeah, his style is so unique. He's a badass. He goes in there and he takes it. And I told her, I'm like, well, he's a prospect. Alan Garcia is a prospect. We don't know. We don't know what he is yet. We got to wait and see. And she's like, prospect? And I'm like, yeah, prospect. He's a prospect. And she didn't know what a prospect was, so I had to explain to her what a concept of a prospect was. I was like, yeah, a prospect is somebody who the promoters and networks invest money behind because they think he has a chance to become an attraction in boxing one day. And normally they match him pretty soft early in their career and give him pretty easy opponents. So right now, Alan Garcia is in that stage of his career where he hasn't taken that step-up fight, and she wasn't getting it. So I was trying to tell him Alan Garcia is a wait-and-see thing. And funny enough, you know, he fights that one guy that he was supposed to beat up on and got knocked the hell out. So, you know, I don't wish bad on him. I hope he comes back and does well. But yeah, he needs a lot of work. I never thought he was a killer. To answer your question. But yeah, let's see. We're at an hour and 45 minutes. So guys, we're gonna go 15 more minutes. We're gonna do our customary 2 hours here on True School Sports, and then we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up when the 15 minutes is done. So get your questions in. Make sure you smash that like button. I gotta go get some food when this live is done. So, you know, if you guys got any questions, anything you want to ask, anything you want to talk about, let me know. We got the Ryan Garcia exhibition coming up soon. I hope I get a chance to go to that. That looks like a lot of fun. Getting chinned by a guy with one knockout victory, yeah, it's crazy. And the most shocking thing about what happened to Alan Garcia is the guy he got knocked out against. That's normally the caliber of opposition you put Alan Garcia with when he takes a step-up fight and he gets knocked out. So, like, let's say if he were to fight, like, I don't know, Abdullah Mason, Adolfo Delgado, or something like that. If he gets knocked out by one of those guys, you put him in with the kind of guy that he got knocked out by. But if he's getting knocked out by that kind of guy, the question is, who the hell do you put him in with? I'm surprised. I'm so shocked that Top Rank has not cut him. And I'm not saying they got to cut him. They can do what the hell they want to do. They're a multi-billion-dollar corporation, but very, very un-Top Rank-like. I could have sworn when they knocked him out, when he got knocked out, that they would drop him. And they didn't do that. He's still a top-ranked fighter, so we'll see what happens. What would you say about Nick Ball versus Louis Neri? Ooh, it sounds like you're trying to drop some news. I like that fight a lot. I think it's style-wise, it's a great fight. Nick Ball, like every other featherweight in the world, is trying to position himself to get an Inoue fight. What better way to do it than to fight the guy that knocked down Inoue and gave him and just fought him? You know, common opponent. They both come forward. It's UK versus Mexico. That's always marketable. That always sells. So I like it. It's not a matchup I ever thought about or ever really considered, but I like it. History says, BT, pick up Abel Mendoza as your first client in Game of Fights. So you want to see me? You want to see me manage Abel Mendoza? You want True School consultations to manage Abel Mendoza? I mean, I like Abel. Abel's a good guy. When I met him in Vegas, I try to point him in the right direction of like where I think he should go to get sparring and things like that. But I already have a client, which will remain nameless, and I care about him. So we'll leave it at that. Abel Mendoza is signed with Queensberry. Is he? I didn't even know that. So he's with Brandon Lee and Abel Gonzalez as the other American fighters with Queensberry. Funny enough, I think Body isn't a very good fighter. Lucas Body. Ashton Silva getting chinned is the knockout of the year for me. It's a great knockout. It definitely could be in the running, but you already know what my knockout of the year is. And I think it's warranted. It's not just me being biased. I think the knockout of the year should be Angelo Leo versus Fernando Lopez. Did I watch the Inoue media workout? No, I didn't. I was trying to go. I wanted to go to the media workout, but I couldn't get any information on when it was. So, you know, I guess it is what it is. But I'm sure he looked good. I'm sure he was throwing really straight punches, and Legs were looking explosive. I'm sure it looked like a normal in-a-way media workout. How many fights do you predict that Tank has left before retiring? 3. I'm going to say 3. Roach, probably, I'll say 3. I think 3 more. Am I going to miss Tank when he retires? I mean, I miss going to his fights. I'll miss the kind of like viewership I get when he fights, because whenever I cover a Tank fight, every time I cover a Tank fight, I kid you not, the channel grows. Just that week, it'll grow at least 1,000 subscribers. So I like that. I definitely like that. He's good for the channel. But as far as a boxing fan, I don't really like that he don't fight the guys that people want to see him fight, and then he gives an attitude about it all the time. You know, just knock them out and show that you like that. To be honest, there's not a whole lot of fighters that I'll miss when they retire, and that's not even a slight on fighters. It's just that I watch so much boxing, and when you watch as much boxing as I do, and you follow it as much as I do, you understand that every time somebody retires, there's always the next young, up-and-coming guy. And I'm always looking at the next young, up-and-coming fighters anyway. So, you know, I'm going to enjoy his career, but I won't say I'll miss Tank. And I won't miss many. Like the next fighter that's going to retire that I can honestly, truly say that I'll miss is Romo Gonzalez. That's it. I'll miss him when he retires. That's about it. Everyone else besides Romo Gonzalez, I just take it for what it is. Canelo versus Crawford, May 2025 Riyadh season is bound to occur. I think so. I think PBC and Riyadh season will do a co-promotional deal to do that fight. That fight's big enough money-wise to where they can do a co-promotion. Watch out for Dayan Gonzalez fighting for the IBO at 126 tomorrow. Unbeaten Cuban knockout artist. If he wins, he's got a contract with the major promoter already. Is Dayan Gonzalez, I could be wrong, but is Dayan Gonzalez that one Cuban dude that was talking shit in English on IFL TV about Lee Wood, saying he would kill him? Is that him? Because if that's him, I like that guy. That guy was talking, he was talking cash shit, getting me excited about boxing. I've been watching the sport for 15 plus years. I remember when he retired and I was devastated. Yeah, it's only a few fighters like Romo Gonzalez. I'll be. It has to be somebody that I have like a deep connection to, whether it be as a boxing fan or knowing them. So Romo Gonzalez, he's my favorite fighter of all time. When he leaves the game, I'll be very sad. As much as I talk shit about him now, you know, Terrence Crawford, I've loved this guy. He's still one of my favorite fighters, and I get pissed off with him because he's one of my favorite fighters, and I want to see him do more to end his career on a higher note. I'll miss him to a degree when he leaves the game. I'll definitely miss Angelo, because just being part of his career has been one of the biggest joys of my life covering boxing. Him. It's not a lot. It's like 5 people. So it's not a lot of guys. Nah, Jadi Herrera, same gym in Liverpool. Jadier's with Queensbury. There's a few young Cubans coming over to the UK now. Yeah. Queensbury signed Cuban-American from South Florida, Abel Gonzalez, who's a 168-pounder. I love Abel Gonzalez. He's one of my favorite fighters from the South Florida area. I saw Abel Gonzalez fight 7 years ago in the amateurs. And he was always a standout talent, you know, multiple-time national Golden Gloves champion. I'm hoping Frank Warren gets him a lot of fights and keeps him active, because Abel Gonzalez, I think, has a chance to really make some noise and be a factor in boxing. Because Abel Gonzalez is signing Ryan Rickey, and I know that they went ahead and signed with Queensbury. So hopefully that goes well. He says, I'll DM you, bro. DM me. My DMs are open. Feel free to DM me. And that goes to anybody else. If you're on Twitter or Instagram and you follow me there, feel free to shoot me a DM. I always like hearing from the boxing fans and people that love boxing like I love boxing. Kakachi and Nunez reached the deal before purse bids. Okay, it's a good fight. Kakachi, respect to him then for reaching the deal with Nunez. You know, Nunez is like the most dangerous and most avoided guy in this weight class right now at 130. So Kakashi can fight. You know, he's done his thing to become champion, but I think Nunez is gonna beat the brakes off of him. Nunez is too big, too strong. What is it? I only got WhatsApp. I mean, I'm on WhatsApp too, but I'm not gonna go in here and give my number out. But yeah, we're here in Japan. Things are moving, guys. Like I can tell you, there's so much great content coming out. I wish I could tell you guys everything that's gonna happen, but I can't. So like, there's three people. There's like 3 confirmed interviews here in Japan. I'm waiting confirmation on the 4th one. The 4th one is a pretty good one. And then gonna be going to the Inoue fight. And then there's like 2 other ones that may be happening. So like, things are moving. Things are moving. Life is good. Life is good. The sun is shining. The water is blue. How much are winning gloves and headgear in Japan? That's a good question. I know it's cheaper. Everyone keeps asking me that. Like all these fighters from back in the States, like it gets really annoying because every time I come to Japan, I get like 10 messages from fighters. BT, could you give me some gear, some winning gear from Japan? And then they don't understand, like, you know, I gotta carry that stuff back with luggage and stuff. So like, they need to send me some money to ship it to them, you know. But to be honest with you, I have no idea. I just know it's cheaper. I know it's cheaper in Japan than in the States because I have like 5 to 10 fighters. Every time I come to Japan, start asking me about getting them winning gear from Japan. So this trip has been no different. But I don't know. To be honest, I don't know. I hope Nunez eventually goes for bigger names and not an Eddie Hearn British tour. My favorite fighter making noise, but I gotta be fair. Yeah, hopefully. I mean, I'm hoping. If we're talking about him not fighting another British fighter, I think the most realistic non-British fighter who's with Eddie Hearn that he could fight if he becomes champion is Raymond Ford. You know, Raymond Ford would be the most realistic, I think. And it's a good fight too. Raymond Ford, I think, he looked better at 130, stronger. Definitely a much better fighter than he was at featherweight. Take us to Japanese 7-Eleven. I heard they got the exotics in there. I went to Japanese 7-Eleven last time. I don't think there's one near me right now where I'm at. Maybe next live. Maybe the next live. Right now, like, I'm in an area where there's not really a ton of stores. I'm by the water. I like sitting here and relaxing and thinking and things like that, so I'm here. The next live, I'll go to a different part of Japan, a different part of where I'm staying, where there's more stores and stuff, and we'll go to 7-Eleven next time. Prediction for Ortiz versus Madrimov. I'll go with Virgil Ortiz because Israel Madrimov is going to be a compromised version of himself when he fights him because Boachuk's going to put him through a really hard fight. Thoughts on Gervonta Davis ducking the fight? I mean, I've talked about it already. I think it's very unfortunate, but it's just he's becoming the next Demetrius Andrade, making bad business decision after bad business decision. So I'm not sure who's in charge. I don't know if he's in charge himself or his dad is, but whoever is in charge at the Boots Ennis camp, they need to get it together because this is a PR nightmare. You know? No one's going to take him serious no more because you had a chance of being a legacy fight against Virgil Ortiz. And I understand that your first fight at 154, so it's tough. But, like, at least say, like, the least he could have did was say, you know what? I never fought at 47. I never fought at 154, so I wouldn't fight him right now, right away. But let me get one fight to get adjusted to the weight, and then I'll go straight into a Virgil fight after that. Then I think people would have been more understanding. But he gets outright refused the fight, and they were offering Virgil the fight at 47, and everyone knows Virgil can't make the weight at 147. So it was very disappointing. As someone who's a Gervonta Davis fan, who's hyped him up and bigged him up because I do believe in his skills, it was very, very unfortunate for me to see. Just being honest. There are a lot of Japanese living in Mexico. Those dudes are legit. Yeah, they are. Can you contact the box rec and tell them they are wrong about not recording Nunez's win or Rakhimov? You are a boxing enthusiast who is respected, so why not? That would be a greater problem with BoxRec in general because BoxRec has decided to not recognize any. Was that an IBA card or was that a WBA fight? Because I know BoxRec doesn't have like, I don't know why. You're right though. You're right because I remember I was on this BoxRec and I couldn't find the Rakhimov fight anywhere. So it's probably a good idea. Nunes versus Rakhimov is under the IBA Pro category. Thank you, talkers. But I don't know. I feel like the IBA thing is like muddying up the waters. Like the IBA is its own thing. The issue with that was there was no local commission. Okay. Well, it happened. We know it happened because we saw it on TV and it was a good fight. Both guys came and gave us a great war. One of the better fights of 2024. So, be nice at BoxRec and all the record. Like boxing has so many problems now with promoters and whatnot. It's crazy that we're having a whole record-keeping issue. Like the WBC has problems with BoxRec. BoxRec has problems with the WBA. Turki Al-Sheikh wants to start his own record-keeping site. It's ridiculous. The IBA has some interesting characters involved. Look up their CEO and what he did in Iraq. I'll check that out here really soon. But boxing always has interesting characters. Guys involved with crime, organized crime. Anyone who's done any research on Turki Al-Sheikh and how he came to power in Saudi Arabia, you'll know that he ain't exactly squeaky clean. MBS Mohammed bin Salman, he definitely ain't squeaky clean. The head honcho of Saudi Arabia, he's not squeaky clean either. So, this is boxing. It's how boxing is. Boxing's always been the Wild Wild West. That's always produced interesting characters being involved. Kabayel versus Zhang is a good fight. But look, guys, on that note, we've reached 2 hours. I'm gonna go wrap it up here. But listen, thank you guys for watching. I don't know if I'll go live tomorrow because I'm not really sure. If anything big happens in boxing from now till then, maybe we'll do a live tomorrow. But if not tomorrow, the following day. Make sure you guys keep supporting the channel. Make sure you guys keep watching all the Japanese boxing content. Seigo Yuri Akui interviews on the way. Other Japanese world champions and prominent figures interviews. They have been confirmed. I just haven't done them yet, so I don't want to tell you who they are yet. But yeah, thank you guys for all the support. Thank you guys for continuing to watch the lives and talk boxing with me. See you on the next live. Have a great day wherever you're at in the world. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dang It. So until next time, take care, guys.